Welcome back. So this is an RC test I got off a Subaru from a service call today, and the complaint was, well, he said it sounded like it was misfiring, and there was smoke coming out the PCV vent. So that's pretty much all I had to go on. You could hear an audible misfire, but I was able to get this RC with the sync on cylinder number 1. And let me just explain this a little bit for any of you that aren't familiar with an RC test and a sync and why you would do all that and what this big colorful thing is. This is called a piston chart, and this red trace, so that represents the relative compression throughout the engine, and this is the firing order. So we got 1, 3, 2, 4. So this red trace represents the relative compression for each cylinder, and it looks terrible. I'll try to post a picture of what like a normal one should look like. I got the sync on cylinder 1, that's the blue trace here. So every time you see that spike, that's cylinder 1 ignition coil firing. And as you can see, it lines up with the top dead center on number 1. So that's good. That shows us, it's firing top dead center, cylinder 1. We're good. Now, piston chart, where does this come in? So where the 1 is here, you're gonna want to line it up with the top dead center on compression stroke of whatever cylinder you sync it to. So I have it synced on cylinder 1, so that's where we're gonna put that, and then stretch it all the way over here to where the pattern just repeats itself. And another thing with any scope pattern, you want to see repetition. If you see something like this at the beginning of the pattern and then it evens out, you may or may not have an issue. However, this is very repetitive. I've tried a few times, and like I said, it's absolutely horrible. So you can see the color code key up here. We got the intake, compression, exhaust, or intake, compression, expansion, and exhaust. So that's what these colors represent, and that's the cylinder ID. Alright, so we got cylinder number 1, it's coming up on the orange, so that would be the compression. So you see it building compression, and then it's going to repeat back over here. This is still cylinder 1, and if you look at the color code, that's the expansion stroke. So spark plug fires, bang. Now we're on the exhaust stroke, now we're on the intake stroke, and then back to compression. So that's how that chart works, and it works for all the cylinders. So you see cylinder number 3 here, we got the orange, so that's compression. So as you can see, 3, it's going up on compression, and that matches down here, and then bang, expansion, exhaust, intake, and then compression again, and it just repeats. So that's how you can correlate that to the pattern. I hope that makes sense. I'm trying to explain this in a pretty understandable way, as it was not easy for me to understand at all. And the reason I don't have a number here is because it just repeats. We're back to number 1, so we got 1, 3, 2, 4. Anyways, let's go over to these funky looking cylinders here. Now my suspicion is that this engine jumped time on that bank. 1 and 3 are on the left bank, and then 2 and 4 are on the right bank. Sorry, I have that reversed. Anyways, this is bank 1, this is bank 2 on this engine. So I believe the cam on that side, it slipped a couple teeth, or a few, or I mean, it slipped. you know, something all of a sudden caused this to not get good compression on that bank. And so anyways, here we go. Here's cylinder 2. So that would be this guy here with that low peak. Now let me see if I can bring a ruler over here. So, well, let's just look at cylinder 1. You can see that lines right up with the expansion stroke, right like it should. Same thing with 3. Right there, lines right up with the expansion stroke. Okay, now let's go over to here to 2. So 2 should be going up on its compression stroke, but and then here's the expansion stroke for 2. Oh crap, I moved it. You don't want to do that. Okay, so let me just fix that. Okay, so let's get this rule. Oh my god, I'm having a time over here. Okay, so down to the ruler here. So number 2 expansion stroke starts way over here. So something's wrong about that. Now let's go to cylinder 4. Well, let me just slow down a little bit. So here's the expansion stroke. Here's the exhaust. It's the intake, compression. And so it should be, you know, right about here. And this is a little bit off. I mean, it does matter sometimes. This is just blatantly obvious. And so anyways, you can see that doesn't line up with that peak there. Now let's go over to cylinder 4. There's that peak. So that should be the peak of the compression stroke right there. And you can see it's not. So let's go over here to where that, oh my god, I am having a time with this. Too many cursors and, okay, alright. Let's go over here to cylinder 4. Remember, we're still up here, that's where the expansion stroke is. So that's no good. It should be starting its expansion stroke right at the end of that peak. Bang! Spark plug fires. Cylinder goes down. That's your expansion stroke. So now let's just go back over here to cylinder 1. You can see start of that expansion stroke. It's like right at the peak, and that's how it should be. Oh my god, I made this mouse a little bigger so you guys could see it. Now I'm having troubles, like dragging shit all over the place. Anyways, okay, number 3, right at that peak. So, and see, I moved this thing a little bit. Let's see if that lines up after I get this here. And I'm lining it up with my sync channel there. That's the plug firing for number 1. So anyways, I mean, that's right about on the money too. So we got an issue here. Low compression in 2 cylinders, either needs an engine or a timing belt.